So this is BenARM Theta. It's a full install of Windows Server. It actually doesn't have anything running on it. I'm just using it for remote management. And what it's connected to right now is it's connected to 4 of my servers, BenARM Alpha and Beta, which are two Windows Server core installations that are clustered together, and BenARM Gamma and Delta, which are in a separate cluster. I've got a bunch of virtual machines on these, but the key one is the inspired name Windows Server to Move. And it is currently sitting on BenARM Alpha, and it is in the cluster of Alpha and Beta. So I've got a script here, and this virtual machine, and we've got the workload down the bottom, this virtual machine is actually going to take a tour of all 4 computers today. So it's going to start out on Alpha, and I'm doing this all with PowerShell scripts, so you don't have to watch me futz through the UI, but you can do this all through the UI. But I'm starting out on Alpha. The first thing I'm doing is I'm using clustering commandlet to just do a live migration inside a cluster to move that virtual machine from Alpha to Beta. So you can see here, live migrating, it's moved across. The owner node is now Beta. We had a drop ping. The file copy is still running. And if I go now from the failover cluster manager to Hyper-V manager, I can look at Beta. Here's my virtual machine. But the next step is to move it from Beta to Gamma. So to move it between these 2 clusters. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the virtual machine from the cluster. I'm going to use Hyper-V to do a shared nothing live migration between Beta and Gamma. And then on the destination, I'm going to add it to the cluster. So I'm going to kick that off because it's going to take a little while. We're doing a shared nothing migration, and we'll be copying the storage. But some key things to call out here. The first one is, in the past, adding, removing virtual machines from clusters, doing all these sorts of operations, often required that you turn off the virtual machine. And we've made all those things go away so that you never need to turn off a virtual machine. It's been fascinating for me working with this software, and I've been doing lots of different demos, that with Server 2008 R2, I have my lab, I have a bunch of machines, and like I'd get told, hey, we need to do this demo, and I'd build it up, and it's like, okay, for this demo I need 2 clusters, and I need so on. Then a month later I'd get told, oh, we need to do a different demo, and I'd look at it and go like, well, now I need standalone boxes. With Server 2008 R2, when I realized that, I would just go in and format the boxes and start from scratch. Because honestly, that was the quickest way to do it. With Server 2012, I haven't had to format these boxes in ages. Because you can actually you can take a cluster, have a bunch of running virtual machines, you can remove the VMs from the cluster, they're still running. You can break the cluster, the virtual machines are still running. You can move the virtual machines around, they're still running. So it's just incredibly easy to make all these sorts of configuration changes and still maintain the uptime of the virtual machines that are running. And the thing that I really like to point out is that in my case, like these are demo machines. I mean, honestly, these are just Windows with an SMB share and a file. I have no reason to keep these virtual machines running, but I do because there's no reason to turn them off. It just works. So here we go, the virtual machine just popped across. Let's see, we dropped a ping, and we're adding the virtual machine to the cluster on the destination side. So let's go back to our failover cluster manager. If we go to my second cluster now, we can see here's my Windows Server to Move. It's arrived on BenARM Gamma. So the final step of this, we've now gone through 3 boxes. We've been on Alpha, Beta, Gamma. And the last step is to do a live migration in the cluster from Gamma to Delta. Once again, this will be a quick operation because we're using CSV. There we go. We're now on Delta. And let's see, dropped a ping. So each time we only dropped 1 ping, workload maintained. VM moved through 4 boxes, 2 clusters.